Hello everybody, welcome back to me finishing my museum on my island Ladybug. I've got a few sea creatures to collect, and then after that I will be finished with my entire museum. I need to get the Venus's flower basket, the spiny lobster, the vampire squid, and the red king crab. 3 of those, all of them other than the vampire squid, I can find during the winter, which is where I'm at right now. And for the last one, the vampire squid, I will be time traveling to the spring and summer months, so it's going to be a quick and easy task this time, a lot easier than my previous 2 museum videos. So I'm really looking forward to catching these last creatures and finishing my museum. Before I start though, I have a couple things that I left out on my island tour on my last video that I wanted to show you guys super quickly. So right now where I'm sitting, I am in my concert venue, so you can see the electric guitars behind me, and then a piano and some microphones, a DJ booth back there. I actually do DJ on the weekends, which I added that before I started DJing, so I think that's funny that I just have that on my island. Then I have this little rooftop lounging area with a place to do laundry, and these flowers just kind of spread out on this section. I might take those out, maybe won't. I haven't decided yet. And then the other place I wanted to show you was this little street side musicians area, kind of like a busker's spot, with some little street instruments, and it leads from my resident services to my shops, as you can see. Now it's time to get into some deep sea diving. So like I said, this is going to be a much easier task than catching the bugs and fish that I had left for my museum. I think personally that deep sea diving doesn't take as long as fishing and bug catching does. It's less tedious as well. I don't have to wait for specific bugs and fish to spawn. I can just wait, or I can just swim around and just catch every sea creature that I find. And it just goes a lot quicker, I think, than catching bugs and fish do. Like catching the stringfish took forever, and catching the giraffe took just as long, if not longer, to catch. So this is going to be a much easier road, much more enjoyable. Another fun thing about diving for sea creatures is that they're worth a little bit more in general than bugs and fish. You can certainly find valuable bugs and fish if you're looking for them, but for the most part, you're going to have more luck making money on sea creatures. So I'm just swimming around trying to get some sea creatures. I got a scallop, so Pascal is paying me a visit because he wants a little snack. I always like talking to Pascal. He's a character for sure. We're gonna see what he has to say today. If night and day could work out their differences, we'd always live in golden hour. Good point, man. Yeah. And then I'm gonna check out what he gave me for his scallop, and he gave me a mermaid chair, which I love the mermaid furniture. I used it in my bathroom in my house, and I also use it in the outside of Marina's house. So I think after I stopped filming, I went ahead and crafted the mermaid chair and added it to Marina's exterior. Oh, and right after I talked to Pascal, I found the Venus's flower basket. I was actually confused because I misread what I was missing, and I thought I needed the flatworm and not the Venus's flower basket at first. So when I caught that and it had like yes, this is the first time I've caught this dialogue, I was very confused and I had to double check. But yeah, that was the first of 4 sea creatures that I needed to catch for my museum. So moving right along, I caught a sea anemone, kept swimming, and then found this guy that was moving around, a mantis shrimp, and then another scallop, a pearl, a zombie crab, a sea anemone, an oyster, a Dungeness crab, an acorn barnacle, chambered nautilus, and then another mantis shrimp, a sea slug, a sea star, a turban shell, another turban shell, an octopus, some seaweed, and another scallop. And then my inventory was full, so I went ahead and emptied it out. I accidentally left my slingshot in my inventory. I meant to empty it out before, but I guess I forgot. And I went ahead and learned the mermaid chair DIY that I ended up using not too long after this. So immediately after emptying my inventory, I found this guy that was being tricky, so I had to use the cornering method to catch this guy. He was giving me a hard time, but I got him. And that was the red king crab, which was the second of the 4 creatures I needed. If you're unfamiliar with the cornering method, it's basically where if there's a really fast sea creature you need, you chase them into the net, and you kind of corner them there, so if they get really far and can't go any further, they will just go super quick into the opposite direction, and it makes it a lot easier. You can see me doing it now. Makes it a lot easier to catch him. And I caught something else on the way. Oh, nope, I caught that. I caught the spiny lobster, which was the 3rd and final sea creature I need for this date and time. So now it's time for me to time travel to the spring to catch the vampire squid. I actually was able to time travel to my current date and time because the vampire squid just so happens to be available in May, and it also just so happened to be available during the time of night that I was filming this, so that made it super easy. The first creature I caught in this date and time was the turban shell. And moving along, I get the pearl oyster, chambered nautilus, another turban shell, a sea urchin, a whelk, another turban shell, and another scallop. And since it's technically a new day, Pascal became very interested in my scallop, so I went ahead and let him have it. Alright, let's see what we have what he has to say now. Ant hills are just cities, but for ants. Good point. Yeah, he's not wrong. Moving right along, I caught a sea urchin, an octopus, a firefly squid, an acorn barnacle, another acorn barnacle, a Dungeness crab, a scallop, a firefly squid, an octopus, some seaweed, a sea anemone, a whelk, a firefly squid, a sea anemone, an acorn barnacle, a sea slug, some more seaweed, and then a firefly squid, a sea urchin, a sea slug, another sea slug, an octopus, another octopus, and then 3 firefly squid in a row. And then a turban shell. And then my inventory was full once again. I went ahead and released a sea urchin so I could get this message in a bottle to see if it was a DIY that I needed, and it was not. It was a windflower fan, which I already have. So unfortunately I could not craft anything new. That's been happening to me a lot. I've been getting a lot of DIYs that I already have, which sucks because I really need some DIYs. My inventory is like full of DIYs that I already know, and I really would like to get rid of them. So moving right along, as soon as I emptied out my inventory, I found this sea creature that he was staying still. I thought this one was moving really fast, but I guess this one was moving slow because it was a seaweed. I actually am glad that I got as much seaweed as I did because I like putting it on the sand. It functions the same way that like a pile of leaves does, that you can like walk on it. It just kind of adds some like decoration, which is really nice. So I want to save all of my seaweed for sure. Kind of use it to decorate my islands. I found this guy who was going very, very fast. There's a few sea creatures that go pretty fast during really any like date or time that you go to. Just because, like I said, there's a lot of sea creatures that are super valuable, so obviously they're not going to be super easy to catch. But they're easier to catch than like a string fish, so it's fine. But yeah, he was giving me a hard time. I believe this one is the Gigas giant clam, but also the lobster is kind of hard to catch, and then obviously the vampire squid. But instead I got a firefly squid and a whelk and a slate pencil urchin. And right after that I found another creature that was giving me a hard time, and I just had to use that cornering method again to try to catch him. And the Gigas giant clam and the lobster, and I believe the firefly squid are all pretty lucrative sea creatures to get, I suppose. They're just tricky to catch, so trying multiple times to make sure I go in the right direction to catch this creature. I got a lobster that time, then I got a sea star, an acorn barnacle, another acorn barnacle, and then a sea slug, a slate pencil urchin, a pearl, a chambered nautilus, a mantis shrimp, an octopus, a scallop, a turban shell, another octopus, and another octopus. And then I found another guy that was going very, very fast. I had to kind of swim in front of him and push him to the back net there. That's what I'm doing right now. On the way I found this whelk, but that's not what I was going for. I was going for this big guy right here, giving me a hard time. You gotta like back up a little bit in order to get him, but I finally did. It was another Gigas giant clam. So that's good. I got 2 of those, which will be very, very good to sell later. I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for Flick and CJ and sell my fish and bugs, but the sea creatures, just selling them to Timmy and Tommy, I'll still make a lot. I found another guy that was going super fast right after I got the Gigas giant clam. This one I probably had the toughest time with. I just could not get the angles right, and he was just swimming in all the wrong directions. So I just kept trying, kept backing up, giving him space so that he would stop moving, and then going straight for him. And he just wanted to go in the same direction. But it was a vampire squid, so it was worth it. And that was my final sea creature that I needed for my museum. So I went ahead and swam up to the beach and opened up my Nook phone so I could check out my now completed Critterpedia. And look at that, it's full. I got the vampire squid, the red king crab, the spiny lobster, and the Venus's flower basket. It feels so good to have that completely filled out. And then I went ahead and accepted all of the Nook Miles that I received for deep sea diving. I got a Nook Miles Plus reward, and then the deep dive, and the underwater understudy rewards and Nook Miles for that, which is great. I never thought I would see that I had 12,000 Nook Miles ever again. That feels pretty good. So I went straight to the museum to talk to Blathers, and I forgot to add the other 3 sea creatures that I had back into my inventory. I left them in my storage, so I'm gonna have to go back and get that. But I went ahead and donated my vampire squid, and I went ahead and let Blathers talk my ear off about the vampire squid. Sometimes I'll let him tell me his interesting facts about the creatures. Sometimes I just feel bad. I probably shouldn't, because he's an NPC in a video game, and he does not have real feelings, but I still feel bad. So I just went ahead and picked up those last 3 creatures and emptied out my inventory. And just looking at that screen, I have a lot of selling to do. I'm going to get a lot of bells for this, so that's very exciting. Went back to Blathers to talk to him and donate my last creatures. This time I just did 2. That way, when I donate the final one, I can get the completion dialogue for finishing all of my sea creatures. When I donated my bugs, I didn't do them one at a time, so I didn't get that completion dialogue. So it was a little underwhelming to finish my bug museum. But this time I wanted to get the completion dialogue, so I went ahead and donated the Venus's flower basket by itself as my final sea creature. Did not let him tell me his facts this time. I just wanted to get straight to the point. And here we go. Yep, there it is. Yep, it's very true. It is truly true. Yep, huzzah. Yeah, no problem, man. I got all my sea creatures. It's so exciting. I don't care about the poster. I'm just excited to have all of my sea creatures and the rest of my museum. Thank you so much for watching. Going forward, we just have a few more littler milestones to finish before I'm fully done with my island. So thank you for coming on this journey with me, and hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!